And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
I got pretzel stick in my teeth.
Yeah.
It's The Bonfire, everybody. This is new but not live. It is a Wednesday, just days before my special airs on Comedy Central.
2 days before, June 17th at midnight, this Friday night, DVR it, set it, the Comedy Central world premiere of Big J. Oakerson live at Webster Hall.
This is The Bonfire, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. Big J. Oakerson, Dan Soder.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm in Cleveland doing my summer residency. If you live in the Cleveland area, you've got 7 shows to choose from.
How many days have you been there at this point? This is your first day.
I just got there. That's why we're doing new and not live.
So you haven't realized yet that you're just going to walk along a cobblestone road every day and just go to the same restaurant, and you're going to go to this one T-shirt shop, and you're going to buy a bunch of T-shirts, though.
I love T-shirts, and I'm very excited that that's going to happen. Of course, this is in the past, and we're talking about the future. I'm also excited that I'm bringing my PlayStation 4.
That's big.
And I'm excited to sample the pot of Cleveland, which I think will be provided, hopefully.
It's probably our friend Ramon Rivas will get.
He's not there!
Oh.
He was supposed to fucking open for me, but he had to go get all big.
He'll make phone calls. He'll make phone calls for you, kiddo.
I hope he does. Anyways, more importantly, Skanks Fest is going on, New York City.
Skank Fest. That is the 18th and 19th. If you have VIP 2-day passes for Skank Fest, you get to come to the premiere party for the special on the 17th. 10 p.m. party. It airs at midnight. Creek in the Cave.
Yes. CreekLIC.com for tickets. Go buy some tickets. You can get your 2-day passes and have access to all the shows. Doug Stanhope, Brian Redband. Who else is good? I mean, there's so many people that are going to be there.
Doug Stanhope.
Doug Stanhope's going to be there. Brian Redband's going to be there. Doug Stanhope's going to be there. Big J's going to be there.
Who's the Death Squad guy?
Brian Redband's going to
be there.
Who else is going to be there?
Todd Glass is going to be there, which I'm super excited for. Kurt Metzger, Sherrod Small. It's going to be an insane,
the list is awesome.
fun event.
And Doug Stanhope.
And Doug Stanhope.
And Brian Redband's going to be there.
Brian Redband. I'm very angry I'm in Cleveland right now, missing Skankfest. But what I'm very happy about at the moment is our guest on the show today.
So fun.
The Craig Gass. Yes.
Excited. Dan and I knew each other in Tucson,
Arizona.
Did you guys know each other then?
We didn't know. We didn't know each other. We met each other here, I think, right?
We ran into each other at the Comedy Cellar, I think, or outside Boston Comedy Club.
Yes.
You said, "Hey, man, I asked you for advice in Tucson." I said, "What did I say?" And you were like, "Oh, man, good luck."
Yeah. I was like,
no one ever makes it out of Tucson. There's this feeling when you're in Tucson, like, Jesus, am I gonna do anything with my life?
Is that because also if you're in radio in Tucson, which you were?
Yeah, I worked at KFMA.
If you're in radio in a town like that is riddled with super hot pussy,
and it's not really riddled with super hot pussy.
You can find a pocket though. It's a place though where you can find a pocket and just be like, I'm good if I make low 6 figures.
I could have found a half Japanese, half Mexican wife.
Absolutely.
Just got
You're
myself
mid 5 figures in Tucson and doing good.
Yeah,
really.
I could have had a nice ranch style house, maybe a Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah, I don't know how much Doug Stanhope's worth. Speaking of Doug Stanhope, but he owns I think he owns Bisbee, Arizona.
Bisbee, which is I think an hour east of Tucson.
Yeah, I think he owns it. He owns Bisbee.
They have a great Wendy's. I used to
Bisbee.
Yeah, I used to work for a newspaper called the Tombstone Epitaph.
Wait, back up. Why is that one better than?
It's just a good Wendy's.
This is really good.
They just
care it's high quality.
You worked for the Tombstone Epitaph?
Yeah, I was a sports writer for the Tombstone.
What sports were going on?
You were a sports writer?
Yeah.
This fact I don't know about you?
Yeah, hi.
Back in 1885, World Series champions.
Yeah. Tombstone, did you write all of it in the voice of your...
George Plimpton.
Sam Elliott.
As the dust came across the plains, there was a man who took a ball. Well, he took the ball all the way to the end zone.
Sun Devil Stadium was all a gas.
And that's your sports.
Yeah, when the Tombstone Yellow Jackets come stinging, well, you're going to swell up.
I covered high school football, and I would get super high and then fucking cover the high school football games.
People knew you were high?
Their only black kid knew.
Really? There's not a lot of black people in Arizona for some reason.
There's no black people in Tombstone.
There really isn't. In fact, when you say, my black buddy, people would actually say, "Are you talking about Jeff?" Like they would say.
Wow, because that really is I was in Phoenix. I felt not a heavy. I think Arizona in general is pretty low on black people.
Yes, it is.
I mean, they're lousy with Mexicans.
Yeah, well, they're not. They don't treat the Mexicans too well there.
You know what's hilarious? The Mexicans that are there that are legal, which is probably a controlling interest of them, actually told me, and I had conversations with them about that. They are so happy to be official like Americans that they don't mind that show your paper shit. I mean, I can't say across the board. I'm sure there's plenty that I happen to meet a few that were like, nobody goes, it never happens. And if it does, like, yeah, whatever. I worked hard. I worked hard to get this paperwork.
Living in Arizona, as Craig did as well, you're there for a little bit, and then you go like, oh, this is Mexico. Like,
well, what was interesting was the drug thing in southern Arizona. It wasn't uncommon for friends of yours in high school to go like, yeah, there's this guy. All I got to do is just drive a truck like over the border. He'll give me $5,000. That's all. Like, dude, I just drive the truck. He'll give me $5,000. And guys ended up in jail, and prison, and there's a lot of drugs.
Soder got violently robbed.
Yeah, in 2004.
In Tucson?
Yeah, well, my roommate was like a major weed dealer at the U of A, and his kid set us up, and these Southside cholos fucking rolled us.
Really?
Yeah. It was fucking real deal. Guns
I saw some Soder was like, get off me, Mexicans.
Yeah. Dude, he was so tiny, and he kept being like, fuck you, man. And I was like,
just let me out of this plastic restraint, and I'll beat you up.
Take off the riot cuffs and face me like a half man that you are.
You tiny half Mexican man.
I saw some crazy violence in Arizona. There's some really violent.
Fourth Avenue, man. There's a lot of fucking.
I don't know why, but late at night, you'd always see these crazy, violent fucking fights breaking out in bars in Tucson.
Yeah, like they fucking go after it. It's that Wild West mentality, man. It's still like fucking 100 years ago. That shit wasn't settled.
See, I picture the entire states just like college people. Like,
you imagine it's all Havasu.
Yeah. It's just girls pulling their fake tits out.
There's a lot of fucking going on. Oh, yeah. A lot of fucking and a lot of fighting.
But there's like pretty fucking, and then there's like back of an auto zone getting blowjob for docking tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Who told you about that?
What was her name?
Dawn. Dawn from Tucson.
Blew you for docking tickets?
Oh, I used to go to KLPX when I was working. So, I worked at KFMA.
I worked at KLPX.
Yeah, I used to go to KLPX, the classic rock station, at night and grab like a handful of CDs and meet up with this chick behind what was the bowling alley? It was on Broadway.
Embarrassing. This is my ex-girlfriend.
No. Trust me, this woman was a land monster.
Really?
Yeah.
Still possible.
Dawn from Tucson?
Still possible.
Dude, but she'd call the request line and she'd go, you want me to get the wrinkles out?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
And I'd be like this. If I was like CD horny, I'd be like, yeah, hold on, I got to break real quick. And I put her on hold.
Shit.
I'd be like, hey, that was Evanescence on 92.1 and 101.3 KFMA Tucson's only new rock.
You want me to get the wrinkles out? It just draws so many great pictures in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's the obvious, just stretching your dong out so it's stiff and there's no wrinkles in that. Or she's sucking you off so hard that all your body's wrinkles, your skin becomes crazy tight.
I'm like a new grape, like a wet grape.
Like your belly button's on the top of your dick.
It's just kind of a buzzkill when a girl says something that's just so not sexy like that. Like,
yeah,
it's so.
But here's the thing.
In that fucking hillbilly voice, too, you're doing.
In that South Arizona fucking, like, I'll get the wrinkles out. But it was seedy attractive. When I was, like, super horny and I hadn't gotten ass in a while and she would call up and say that, I'd be like, I get off at 2.
Was she fat?
Yeah.
Which actually,
that wasn't even.
It's so funny. Fat. You bring up.
Was she fat? So fat.
But you bring up being really horny, which brings me up to the reason why I want to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been on this show before. Never heard it.
Yeah.
But I know both of you.
Yes.
And because I know both of you, I've already come up with a new staple for the show.
Okay.
This is going to be a regular staple. It's called Fellas, We Doing This? Okay. That's the name. That's the staple. We're gonna have to get a music bed for it. Figure out whatever we're gonna do.
You're talking to super producer Lou
Fellas,
Litsky.
Are we doing this?
Yeah.
And here's your scenario. You're in, let's say, Anchorage, Alaska. You're really horny.
I've lived in Alaska.
All right, you're in Anchorage.
I've been in Anchorage, Alaska, and I've been really horny there.
I've been both of those
late at night. You just got done with your show. Nobody's talking to you.
Okay.
Except for one of the waitresses.
All right.
And she wants to know where you're staying at.
Okay.
But she's 60. Fellas, are we doing this?
Yes.
What kind of 60?
I don't care.
She told you it doesn't matter. You know she's 60 and everyone in the bar is going to know. She's 60.
60.
I'm not saying that I'm coming up with this story because I lived through it.
This is insane because in every scenario we roll the dice, Soder comes out the much more vanilla. No, I don't think I do.
You don't think you do, and I do.
But if you go, if there's also one where you go, at the end of that same night, no one's talking to you, the 40-year-old, 300-pound waitress goes, "I'll suck your dick," without even hesitation. I go, "Yeah, sure."
And I go, "No."
Yeah,
See,
weird.
Because I'm hoping with 60, it's maybe like a
decent.
Yeah, like a decent.
Now you can block out the 60. You can't block out the fat.
Yes.
Have you ever hooked up with a girl whose age showed in like her skin while you're fucking her, like that baggy skin? Forget fat or any of that.
It's only been
just like that kind of loose weirdness in the body. You're like, I just can't. That'll.
Well, sometimes it's too late. It's like you're already in it, and you're like, "Oh, all right."
I never walked away for it. I'm just saying, when you see it, you're like, "No, this is not."
So you focus on other stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Can't do it. I'm just like I do in comedy. I find the one person not laughing. I find the part of the body that's moving the weirdest.
Yeah.
So, and that's the part of the movie. What about like soft tits? Like, old lady soft tits. Like when you touch an older woman's tits, and you're like, "Oh, you've had like these are
done."
Yeah, like they're
like beat up done.
Like mushy.
Oh yeah, yeah. The nips start going inside. Mm-hmm. They start just retreating backwards.
Or the stretch marks.
Okay.
Or stretch marks on their belly.
I've had it. I
can get past that.
Yeah.
You know what it is for me sometimes is sun damage. If a woman has like Florida cleavage.
Really beaten down. Well,
sometimes it turns me on.
Yeah.
And sometimes it stops.
Turns you on in what way does it turn?
The same way getting the wrinkles out turns me on.
Took a beach from a chick in Houston, Texas once who really had that, like her whole skin was like a fucking attaché case.
Like a successful lawyer from the 80s.
Oh my god!
Just clip open for his documents.
Her skin looked like the Book of the Dead from Evil Dead.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like flesh on a book.
Like she used to tan, or she's tanning now like that much? Or?
She's constantly just getting sunbaked. She's like, it's that tan where it's like under the tan you also see like massive freckles, and she's not like a redhead or anything.
So what's the
crazy hair, big fake tits though, turquoise jewelry, that whole thing. And she was probably in her 50s for sure. So I said yes to that. So who am I bullshitting?
So, and as soon as you're done, what's the, obviously you don't want to stick around, so what's the exit move to get them out of your room? Or are you at their place?
In that one, I was in a green room. People saw it coming. The people at the club saw it coming. They gave me the old, like, "Hey, Jay, gotta pay you." Like, they saw.
Oh, after it was done?
Nice. That was lucky timing. They were coming to save me from, like, "You don't want to do this at all."
Yeah.
And I was
but they
already
didn't
done.
know that you'd already.
It was already over.
That's like the bank robbery's over, and they're like, "This place is going to get robbed."
In fact,
like, it already did.
Very quickly into being alone with her, I didn't want to do anything at all. Like, she really she slid down a wall. She said, "Fuck my face," and I was like, "That's pretty hot."
She slid down the wall. What a by the way, I like that.
That is pretty hot.
I just hear all the turquoise jewelry moving as she slid down. Just rock jewelry. Clanging.
Isn't it amazing the
young man? Fuck my face.
Isn't it amazing the clarity that hits you when you come though? Like, oh man, what am I doing here?
I've got 85 stage stories just about that very thing. It really is. As soon as it's over, it's you're like even situations that are not right. With hot chicks.
Yes.
It's just wrong in some way. Maybe she told you she had a boyfriend, and maybe you're cheating, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, even the hottest chick, you'll get a thing where you're like, fuck, man, like, is the possibility of everything going shitty right now, like, worth that thing?
Yeah, but that's a thing that comes with age.
Sometimes it is.
Where
Sometimes
you're able to look into the future to be like, is this going to be worth it? Because I think when you're young...
That comes later.
Yeah. When you're young, when I was starting at Laughs in Tucson, I would try to fuck... Like, I would just wait out in the bar, just like, nah. I hooked up with a girl, and I told you this story, I think.
Smelling them.
Where her daughter's room was the closet.
Yeah.
Like, like Metallica's Turn the Page.
Yeah.
Like,
like Room, the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then you beat the shit out of her after?
And then I soloed.
I do what I do for the money, and nobody can raise my daughter better than me.
First I soloed in front of the kid, then I beat the shit out of it. I was doing Kirk Ham. I was just nailing it.
Fucking hammer-ons?
Yeah.
But after you finish, it hits you.
But I was 21, and she was at the open mic at Laughs.
Okay.
But but they used to do it before the regular show. So it was like,
right, it'd be like a 7 p.m. open mic that led into a regular show.
Yeah. Tucson.
Tucson, yeah.
At the Comedy Club in Tucson. And you could smoke inside.
There's 4 comedians in Tucson right now going, this is my gym, this is my story.
That's where I work. But
I fucked that chick with the kid in the closet.
Yeah. So she came, I saw her go to the bathroom and she had huge tits, and I was like, what's up? And then she came back and I was like, hey, do you have a light for my cigarette? And she was like,
what an opening line.
Hey,
what time is it?
Yeah. And she was like, I do. And then you could just tell there was trouble, like that she was trouble, because she was like,
what kind of a turn on trouble?
Yes. And she was like, who are you? She had glitter on her tits. I'll never forget that. I was like, oh boy, here we go. A lot of glitter on the tits in Tucson, might I just say.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Aught 1 to aught 5 there was. So
they just shimmer in that hot sun.
Surprisingly large amount of strip clubs in Tucson.
Good strip clubs, too.
Good ones, yeah.
TD's West.
Yep, TD's East, TD's
But didn't
West.
they recently, when I was being driven to the airport, I feel like I remember the guy saying that now there's like that 3-foot rule, and maybe it's not there.
No.
Might not be there. It's like a
Not
3
in
foot.
Tucson.
No, not
Got to
in
keep
Tucson.
3 feet away from the dancers.
Well, that shut everything down in Tucson.
So glitter tits.
So glitter tits lights my cigarette, and then she's like kind of flirting with me, and I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, hey, do you want to do a shot? And I was doing shots of Jaeger back then, and I was like, do you want to do a shot of Jaeger? And she didn't even bat an eye. She's like, absolutely. And I was like, oh, this is perfect.
He's like, you need a beer chaser? She's like, nah.
Swear to God.
Really?
Swear to God. I go, do you want a drink to back that up? She's like, I'm good. And I'm
Save
like,
a couple
She's like,
bucks.
this is my water.
yeah. She does it. She goes like this. I go, I have to go to work at the radio station.
You're throwing out the radio.
And she goes like this. She goes, I'll come with you. I go, aren't you in there with your friends? She goes, just left her friends at the comedy show.
Perfect.
By the way, she's been drinking. She's like, I'll go pick up beer and then I'll meet you at the radio station. I was like,
wow.
You seem to live life pretty fast and loose.
See, in my mind, I'd be like, oh, she's not coming. That's it.
So that's what I
But
thought.
Dan's already mapping out where in the station he's going to fuck her.
Exactly. And it's the Frank Show office.
Yeah. Nice. On Frank's desk.
I titty fucked in that office once and I came on a coffee cup and I left it.
Nice.
Fuck Frank Show.
I like Frank. I was just,
I did not like the Frank Show or their merch.
I just didn't like the fact that they bullied me all the time. Yeah. So I remember titty fucking. I remember Rob Gallo caught me. I walked out with the girl and he was working overnights at KLPX and he's like, "Were you fucking around in the Frank Show office?" I was like, "What? No." And then, oh god.
No, he goes, no, but you should try the coffee.
Yeah. Hey, I think I put some creamer in that coffee.
I think you take it heavy cream, light sugar.
So Glitter Tits disappears. I go to I'm like, hey, follow me to the radio station. And she's like, okay. Because she didn't have a cell phone. I was like, do you have a cell phone? She's like, no. I'll follow you. Yeah,
what am I, Zach Morris? Let's fuck.
Sorry, Gordon Gecko. I don't got that kind of cash.
Gordon Gecko.
So she's trying to follow me to the station, and she just disappears. She's gone. So I get to KFMA, which is like, it's like in that back, the second station where they moved to the park where it's out by like the Shit Creek.
Yeah.
By a water treatment center. It's like out there. She just doesn't show up. And you can see every car that's driving.
And you're bummed out.
I'm bummed out. And I'm like, And I'm
dirtiest girl in the world's probably getting plowed by some Mexican dude behind a Denny's right now.
Like, damn it. This chick's gone. And then I'm like doing my shift. And then I answer KFMA's request line, and she's like, hey. And I'm like, hello? And she's like, hey, it's me. And I'm like,
she's a mess, Dan's horny.
Yeah. And I was like, but I go like this, like we'd been married, like we're newlyweds. I was like, where did she go? And she goes,
you filthy whore.
She goes, I came to get some beer and I lost you. I'm going to come to the studio. And I was like, okay, I'm giving her like specific directions. Like she's fucking pulling me out of
Is this, by the way,
Vietnam.
is this Caesar haircut, Dan?
Fuck yeah, it
Hell
is.
yeah.
Double XL Adidas t-shirt, Caesar haircut.
Nice.
Mark Echo shirt.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. She shows up outside with a fucking half a rack of Bud Light.
Nice.
By the way, tells me she's had 2 on the drive.
Nice.
As she walks in.
You're definitely getting pussy.
Because the box it's like ripped open like a raccoon got into it.
One of the while you're driving, just tagging at it. That fucking rip.
She pulls it open.
Oh, man, they're putting better glue on these things these days.
Anheuser-Busch must have hired a new box company.
Chipped my tooth. Turns out it was a twist-off cap.
Sorry about the condition of the box. Knox. Had to get into Fort Knox to grab some gold, if you know what I mean. Had to have a road soda.
Had to punch my way through. A lot of lights on the way here.
So she shows up, and we're drinking beers, and it's like, and then she starts telling me, like, I got a kid, and I'm like, and I'm like, hey, that's cool.
Do you mind if he watches? He's a little shy. I gotta ask for him.
I'm trying to teach him how to treat a lady, so you might have to show him some of the darker parts.
You got any shifts available at the station for my kid, Jose?
I know. He likes to do promos.
I think he's curious about the gooch, but I can't describe. I can't see it.
Got any Nickelback CDs for my kid?
Hey, any way you can jimmy open that prize closet so I can get some shirts? He's got to go back. My daughter's got to go back to school. I want her looking fresh.
That's hot.
I want her in a La Caliente shirt.
You just got burned by the flame on 92.5.
He just threw out a Caliente reference. That was one of the stations in the building.
Every time you walk by La Caliente, the station 102.1, it just go. Hola, says nombre de siente Pepe.
Hey, don't stop the party.
And it always was like they were constantly on a party on La Caliente, and then Pepe would come in the studio, and he'd go, churro time? And I go, and we go outside and smoke a fucking huge joint of the worst Mexican pot I've ever smoked. Like, seeds would pop while you're smoking.
I'm so fat-minded, I was just like, he brings churros.
No, that was his...
I'm like, you guys should go smoke weed before you eat those churros. It's going to be so much better.
Yeah, that's where and then it was like, the weed would reek like cologne, because they would, like, pull it over in bushels and they'd cover in cologne. It was the worst pot ever. But whenever Pepe...
Same with the Coke.
Yeah, when Pepe would step in with those fucking big old joints. So anyways, Glitter Tits comes in the studio, and we're drinking beers, and then she's like,
she's telling you her sad story. You're getting horny.
I'm still like, she's like, my kid's with her dad. I was like, oh, cool. No, with her parents. That's what she said. She's like, my daughter's with my parents. And I was like, oh, cool. Well,
her parents know exactly the kind of garbage she is.
Yeah, they're just rolling their eyes.
They're the ones who take care of the grandkids because they don't trust them. They don't really want to take them that much, but they're like, it's probably for the best of this kid if we...
Yeah, her room was a closet, which I found out because we're drinking beers, and then she's like, can anyone see in the studio? And I was like, no. And she goes, I want to blow you when you're on air.
Wow.
And I just go like this. Well, I'm about to go on air. And if you know how to operate a board, you know how to make it not go on over the air.
Yeah, of course.
So I turn on the mic, and I just cut it from it going out. And I'm like, hey, it's Kevin, man. Just pull out my dick.
You were doing fake reads?
Yeah. I did she thought I had a talk show. By the way, if she was paying any attention, she would notice all of my breaks are 15 seconds, and it's me being like, hey, coming up, it's Disturbed on 92.1 KFMA, but now I have a talk show? I'm like, an interesting news story. So she like blew me for a little bit. And
this just in, Glitter Tits is taking it down the choppers.
Turns out we've got a pro in the studio. So we go to her house, and she's like...
Go to her house?
Yeah, we
you
leave.
Didn't fuck her in the building?
No. She was like, come to. She's like, I don't want to fuck you.
Did she scared to go to her house?
That was the power of erection.
Didn't she finish you off?
No.
I would
she
never.
Half blew you?
Half blew me.
Anyone who's that insane is scary to go to their house.
Again, this all comes back to the original point of you don't see that until you've come. Yeah. When you're young, you're just like, oh, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like a porn.
Right, but any girl who is that into fucking a stranger has some touch of mental illness.
Yeah, anyone that's willing to bring a half a rack of Bud Lights and fucking get
I'm
down.
so happy, by the way, you brought up Alaska, because I'm going to tell you guys my Valdez, Alaska story after this of a very similar nature of like making decisions. We're like, what the fuck? Why am I here?
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't feel that. What the fuck am I here? Right until
you're horny.
I got to her apartment. And then she like the stereo's on the ground. It's one of those situations where it's a couch, a stereo on the ground, a TV on the ground.
No bedpost. coast.
Jesus.
The mattresses are on the floor.
I'm like, hey, do you?
Is it a ground type TV?
No. That was a very. Oh, it was before flat screens. So
But I'm
like,
saying it's the one where it's like it's in a wood chest or something that's supposed to be on the ground.
No, this is supposed to be in an entertainment center.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how. To the point where
Entertainment center's coming.
to the point where I walked in the apartment and I was like, hey, do you run a bank robbing crew?
Wow.
Where you have to get the fuck up out of here quickly? So she's showing. We're like making it. She's like. And then she asked me to. She goes, "My daughter's husband's coming to town. Would you mind acting like my boyfriend?"
Daughter's husband?
No, but my daughter's father.
Okay.
My daughter's father. My ex-husband's coming to town. Would you mind acting like my boyfriend? And I was like,
no.
I was like 20. I was maybe 21 at the time. I was like, no, why? I guess.
You bow back to I guess.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'll do it.
What day? What do you get? It's going to be Thursday?
When? I mean, I'm busy some days this week, but there might be that I can probably swing.
It's not even a realistic proposition. You're just in and out.
Well, the thing is, like, you don't want to. I get where you're at right there in your head. You don't want to commit to that at all.
But you want her to-
But you don't want to say a flat out no because you're like that might get her and going like, no one will ever help me with this fucking, and then it becomes not fucking anymore.
Right.
Yes, both of you are correct. So I just kind of am like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then she's like, do you want to go to my room? Mattress on the floor.
Yes, quickly.
Fantastic.
And then I'm like looking and I'm like, hey, what's up with the closet? Because the light's on. She goes, it's my daughter's room. I want to go. No, that's a closet.
Closet.
Yeah, closet.
Closet.
A closet.
What was in it? A mattress on the floor?
Yes.
Just a smaller mattress?
Yes.
Holy shit. Everybody, she goes, you're like, how old's your daughter? She's like, 25.
She's 14, growing like a weed.
But you go for it.
I was there. I was 21.
it good? Was it good times?
Yes, it was good until she had a very powerful orgasm that upset me.
What?
Why?
Because like we were having sex and then she just got very like and I was like, no, I don't like this.
Like violent?
Like
I've had a girl like slug you in the chest. You're like,
kind of like that, where she was like almost like and like rolling her eyes back, and you're like, I'm not that good at sex, lady.
Right, just okay, like, overacting.
Yeah, or like you're fucked up. You're like super fucked up, where she's like tender to the touch.
Mentally,
like,
yeah,
like you're so. Just
the sidebar, because it's not. I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but Christine could vouch for this. We hooked up with a girl once who, when I was fucking the girl, she goes, oh my god, it's so big, and that made me take forever to finish. So I'm like, you fucking liar.
It's weird you say that, because
I'm like, shut up.
Her orgasm was like so intense that, and I knew it wasn't because of my sexual prowess.
Yeah.
That I was kind of
21
like,
Caesar haircut, Dan?
oh,
no
dude,
way.
That's all Pound Town. That's just fucking jackhammering. That's all hip up, down, hip up. Let me get mine.
Now you get on top, dummy.
Yeah, that's not 32 play with the clit, Dan Soder. That's fucking 21, just ground and pound. And fucking.
That's it. Flip over, try to end it early. You got no cardio.
Yeah, I want to drop him in the first. Tyson. This is Tyson 86.
No pacing.
Yeah.
You're seeing mental illness, is what you're seeing.
When I stuck my dick in her, I saw all the mental illness. Like,
yep.
like when an oracle touches someone. But she had the greatest big natural tits.
Yeah.
Really?
And then so that's what made me finish, because I looked down and they were water bedding. You know, like when they're moving.
What was the beef story?
Hairy.
Yeah, I assume.
But I put a condom on, and it was like I didn't really want to pay attention because I kind of knew that there was some probably big mileage on there.
Yeah.
Oh, on a pussy?
But I was like, hey, you don't have anything, right? Like,
you said that first?
Even if she said yes, like,
I would have probably.
Come on, it's like how many girls say to you, like, hey, I just want to make sure you're clean, right?
Yeah, but
you probably do this every time you go on the road.
How many open mics do you go to?
Yeah.
The afterwards question is always the best. He goes, so I mean, like, you're clean, right? You're like, yeah. Like, what am I going to say? Yeah, yes, of course.
The gun's been fired.
He goes, you should have asked that before. Yeah.
So
hey, was that thing loaded?
So what's funny is she was doing it was one of those things where when we were fucking around when we got to her house on the couch, where very 21-year-old move where you're just promising everything. You're like, I'm gonna fuck you in the middle of the night. I'm gonna fuck you in the morning. And she's like, I can't wait, baby. Oh, baby.
I'm gonna fuck you out of a ride home.
Yeah, and then you,
I'm gonna fuck you over emotionally.
I'm gonna fuck you over. You know what? With your cable bill, I'm gonna take your cable bill right out of your now.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck you over financially, or I'm gonna take all of your final notice dues.
Oh my God!
You're gonna think you have another month.
I'm gonna call child services on you. I'm gonna fuck you over as a parent.
I'm gonna fuck you over as a parent. I'm gonna jerk off all over that kid's mattress, and then tell the police to blacklight that closet.
I'm gonna fuck you out of child support.
I'm gonna fuck you all the ways you want me to fuck you, and some you don't want me to fuck you.
And on top of that, I'm not gonna say I'm your boyfriend.
Then I just close her eyes like she's dead. I put my hand over her face like she
just accepts it. Like, okay.
So
fuck you out of your visitation rights.
Yeah, which I think that's what she was on. I don't think she had custody.
Yeah.
So I come, as the saying goes, and immediately just start like, whoa.
Of course! Of course!
The only way to describe it's like when Neo comes out of the goo in the Matrix. Where I'm I was just looking around like...
This is someone waking up from surgery and pulling on their own tubes. They're like,
and she's like, oh, baby, let's go to sleep.
And she's not going to sleep.
And she's like, trying to grab me, and I'm laying on my back in my boxers, just like... And she's like, have her arms over me, and she's like,
being all sentimental now.
Nuzzling.
You're her new
me.
boyfriend.
Yeah, and I was like, and I go, I have to go. And she was like, what? And I was like, I just remembered I have to wake up super early. And she was like, I just remembered. She goes, I thought you were gonna fuck me in the morning. And I go, turns out that's not true.
Looks like I'm fucking you right now. I'm out, stupid.
Fucking yes, more deep.
Was she mad?
And she was like, call me later, baby. And then I called her.
Perfect. Get out.
And then 3 days later, when I was horny, I called her again.
Really?
Again?
No.
You didn't do it?
Didn't do it again. But
did you jack before?
Yeah, I jacked, and then I was like, get out of there,
Dude, I felt that guilt after masturbating to porn, where after I come, the girl's still getting plowed, and I'm like, can fucking somebody help this girl?
Yeah.
All these black guys won't leave her alone.
That's the reason I said, and it's having a daughter and thinking about, like, after you come with produced porn, I do get a feeling like these girls. I mean, Jenna Jameson proved that there's just no one, even as the most mainstream success as a porn star, you're not okay after it.
Yeah, there is a
Lisa Ann said, when we interviewed Lisa Ann on Legion of Skanks, she said, she goes, no, like no normal, not fucked up person a little bit does porn. And she's a porn star.
Yeah.
But she admits that. She goes, yeah, but she's lucky she's just not like a cokehead, junkie, whatever the fuck, you get the worst of worst you become on that.
There really was this feeling of right after, especially with Glitter Tits, where I was just like laying there and I was like, I feel so fucking bad for everybody in this house. The daughter, her, the grandparents got to take care of the daughter. I started going through the whole thing.
You get to go right back to your vanilla normal life.
I went right back to my 1-bedroom apartment right by the U of A, and I remember I took a shower. And I laid down in my own bed, and I was like, I felt just like sad, like, oh fuck. And then
your feet are off the floor when you're laying in your bed.
Oh my god, I could sit down on my bed and have my feet touch the ground and not in a squatty potty way.
You can put on your shoes like you're not taking a shit in the woods.
Yeah, and she befriended me on MySpace 6 months later because MySpace came out around this time.
That's all she's waiting for was she invented MySpace.
She's Tom.
She's Tom.
She
invented MySpace just so she could find you. She goes, I never found that guy. I sucked off while he was playing Disturbed tracks.
Oh, hey, sexy. How did those jokes you were working on at open mic turn out?
Does this sound familiar? Ooh, wah.
Get down with the sickness. You still owe me 3 or 4 fucking out-ofs.
So do you think about getting in touch with her? You think about hooking up
So here's what happened. I found her. She befriended me on MySpace.
Stop saying befriended. Say friended.
Befriended.
Befriended means like she walked up to you and then was like, I'm going to get you through this hard time. I'm going to befriend you.
She did befriend me. And then
she did befriend you.
This hard time of getting out of my fucking house.
She friend requested me. And then I looked at her profile, and she was shaved her eyebrows. They were drawn in now.
Perfect.
No.
Because
Cholo gang.
Yes, she was dating a Cholo gang member, a South Tucson Cholo gang member.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was making that up. I nailed it?
You nailed it.
Boom!
Tucson, dude.
Tucson, baby.
Yeah, you want to talk about Tucson?
I wonder if they were tattooed on eyebrows. Very possible.
I don't know, man. But then she got pregnant within the next 2 months, and then there was another panic.
Oh my God! She's running out of closets. She's running out of cabinet space. The next one's going to be in the Lazy Susan.
That's what I was going to say. She's checking out
What's
the
in
cupboard.
the oven? My daughter.
Yeah.
It's her bedroom.
Well, you'll notice above the stove is where my youngest sleeps.
He goes, "Do you have any crackers or anything?" He goes, "Yeah, it's in that cabinet right over there." You go, "No, not that one." You know, but if the kid just falls out, he's got school in the morning. You can't disturb him while he's trying to sleep.
That's Chad's room.
The crackers are next to him.
Oh, come on.
Do you have any Oreos? Like, yeah, but you gotta be quiet. My boy's asleep. Brandon's in there sleeping.
Have you ever feared that a girl was going to try because she thought that you were had money because of who you were, that she was going to try to do something afterwards?
I haven't had money till recently.
They don't know that,
but they don't know that.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't know that.
I've had girls in the past say, goes, "Why don't you?" I mean, going back like fucking 13 years ago, girls were like, "Why don't you fly me out to wherever, Mr. Moneyback?" Because I was like on BET's Comic View or something. They're like, "Oh, well, that's it. You're a superstar celebrity."
Well, my ex-girlfriend just treated me like that. When we were going to Bonnaroo, she was like, "You're going to fly me out there." You're like, fuck.
Yeah, but you had a couple bucks at that point.
Yeah, but that's what the worst part was, because she knew it. Because they'd be like, "Oh, I got this gig," and she'd be like,
I know. Actually, we all know this comedian well.
Okay.
And I heard that this comedian did something that I thought was brilliant. That when he was on the road and when he would hook up with girls, that he would take the girls by the front desk.
Okay.
At 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, ring the bell. "Hey, Tommy the comedian. I'm performing at the Funny Bone down the street. Did you hear about the show? Did you get tickets for that? You didn't get tickets? Oh, I'll hook you up with tickets. I'll get you tickets. Yeah, it's I still got 2 more shows. I'm in room 213. Tommy the comedian. And but quick question: how do you get to where you going to now, honey?" And the girl would go, "Oh, I know where I live. I know how to get around from. I live here." Like, "Oh, okay." Then he start making jokes to the guy at the front desk, making jokes to her, making them all laugh. It's all on the security cameras. "All right, I'll see you later. Tommy the comedian, if you need the tickets, call my room. I'll hook you up." Tommy.
Sure, yeah.
Walk her out. And it's all premeditated. So now if the girl ever tries to say, you know, that guy did something fucked up, it's like, well, the front desk guy said, "Yeah, we got a video of them. We're all laughing. We're all having a good time."
I had a buddy
that guy must be doing some creepy shit that was very prepared to have it all on camera.
Well, wait till you hear what it is. I'll tell you afterwards. It's funny. It's funny.
But a buddy of ours that just happened. He was in Denver, and this girl went back to smoke weed with him, and she was like freaking out. She's like, "You poisoned me." She called the cops. She's like, "You poisoned me."
Oh, no.
And he was like, "What the fuck? I was hanging out with her the night before. Why is she freaking out on me?" Cop showed up. He's texting her friend, like, "What happened?" And her friend texts back, "Oh, she ate an edible about an hour ago." He shows the cop that, and the cop goes, "All right. Like, we're going to talk to her."
Wow,
she didn't say she didn't say like he assaulted her or anything. She was saying that he poisoned her, which is a very Renaissance.
Poisoned me.
"I believe he put the eyes of a raven into my."
Wait, Jay, you said you had a story about the Exxon Valdez or something. What was in Alaska?
Valdez, Alaska, which is where the
there's a
Exxon
town
Valdez
called
is from.
Valdez.
Yeah, it's from. Very, very small.
That's where Exxon Valdez grew up.
Yeah.
Very, very, yeah. That's his hometown. They named the school after him.
Oh. Should we come back for the story? Because I'm getting it.
Yeah, well, it's only going to take 3 seconds for real. This is a pre-record. So, yes, we can absolutely. Wow, I put the stress in the weird part of that word. A pre-record.
the way that I kept saying befriended?
Yeah, a pre-record.
A pre-record? Well, I would befriend
a pre-record.
A pre-record.
We're going to come right back.
Back.
We're going to be right back. You're going to hear a few commercials, but we're just going to pick this up in about 3 seconds. It's the Bonfire.
Hey, this is Ari Shafir, encouraging you to do mushrooms after the Bonfire with Big J and Dan.
Bonfire, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95. I'm Dan Soder. That is Jay Vetter, a.k.a. known as Big J Oakerson.
Hell yeah. Special guest Craig Gass hanging out with us
Craig
today.
Gass hanging out for the whole show, new but not live.
It's a Wednesday.
2 days away from the Comedy Central world premiere of Big J Oakerson, live at Webster Hall. Set your DVRs. It's midnight Friday. Watch it, motherfuckers.
Friday into Saturday, I always got to tell people.
Friday into Saturday.
And wonder why Jay doesn't show up for work a week from now.
Yeah,
After
exactly.
the Comedy Central special debut.
It's going to be...
Fucking some lady in a closet. I said we let Lou pick the music.
We had Craig pick the band.
And it happened to be Lou's favorite band.
Yeah, it happened to Lou's favorite band, so we go, "Lou, you pick the song, but we want to hear Even Flow." Of course, he's got to go to like, oh no, you got to hear the one they did in Austin, this is 2002.
Right after Bush gets elected, 2000. This is the song where they said they knew.
I'll tell you what put me in that for hating Pearl Jam was early in comedy. I worked for 2 months, maybe 3 months tops.
Ticketmaster.
At a CD store. And when the CD, I had to, you get the CDs every Tuesday or whatever, or Monday, and you have to put them all out.
Yeah.
New release day. And there was a bunch of Pearl Jam, and I just started putting them all in the Pearl Jam section. They go, no. You got to read the little labels on them, the actual tracking labels, because they released a fucking album of the entire American tour. Every city had its own CD.
Yeah.
You had to organize them like that.
And you hated them for that?
I hated them for that. It's a fucking dickhole move. And then 2 months later, they released the whole thing of the overseas ones.
So you had to go by country. I get it.
There's a Uruguay in my Paraguay. Go fuck yourself. I'm going to be over here stealing chocolate starfish and the hot dog water.
Flavored water.
I got a funny story about Lou and Pearl Jam, but have you ever brought someone to meet someone and thought, all right, they'll be cool.
Yeah.
And then they weren't?
Yeah.
Who was it?
I've had that with an athlete.
So many times.
I've had that with an athlete where my friend introduced a couple football players. Like, he works in the NFL. And I brought a buddy of mine who's a comic.
What do you say?
And he was just like, fucking. He talked about dropping a pass to the guy, and I was like,
oh!
I was like, don't do that.
Was he drunk?
Yeah.
Dude, I brought a comedy club owner one time backstage when I was on tour with Mayhem Fest, backstage when I was out with Slayer and Slipknot, and I was like, you just got to kind of be here. You don't have backstage passes. You have a pass that works if I'm with you.
Right.
But I'll bring you wherever you guys want to go.
Right. You have to escort them.
I'll bring you wherever you want to go. So I'd put him like in the audience.
Yeah.
And then I'd be texting him like, hey, where you guys at? You know what I mean? If you want to come backstage, and they came out like, we just got kicked out of backstage, man, trying to grab stuff because they were in catering, trying to grab something. And I'm like, dude, it's a comedy club owner too. And by the way, I like this guy very much. I still get along with him very well. I think he's actually. It's years ago now, so it's like it's like 5 years.
By the way, keep in mind,
older, but you're just like, dude. You own a venue. If someone was doing that in your place, you'd flip your shit.
Keep in mind, those passes are initialed with your initials. So that if someone fucks up, they go, who gave these passes? They see the initials, and they know it comes back to you.
They know you're the jerk.
What happened with you?
Well, it's funny because you actually reminded me of a really funny comedian in Boston named Harrison Stebbins who said, hey, man, how come you never bring me to concerts? And I'm like, well, if you want to go, I didn't know you want to go. And then I called him up and said, I'm going to go see Slayer in Worcester if you want to go. And he's like, fuck, do we go backstage? I go, I actually don't know that band, but I know someone who works for them, so I can get you in. So I got him in. We had passes. And he got hammered because they had this lounge with free beer.
Yeah.
And he got hammered. And then at the end of the night, we were walking out, and I go, just as a point of reference, it's Kerry King right there. It's the guitarist of Slayer. And he goes, Kerry! And Kerry turns around. My buddy, wasted, goes, you guys are fabulous. I mean it. And winks at him. And I just grabbed him. I said, Harrison, come on. But Lou, I brought Lou on stage with Pearl Jam at Wrigley Field.
What?
I brought him on stage. One of the guys in Pearl Jam is on my comedy special that I filmed called The Worst Comedy Show Ever, Mike McCready. So I bring Lou up on stage. We actually planned this out a couple months ahead of time. He said, are you going to be there? And I said, yeah. And he goes, is there any way you can hook me up? And I said, yeah, just come out. So
like
Lou,
side stage, on stage?
On stage with the band.
What?
Oh, wow.
On stage
the friends and family section.
And the friends and family.
Oh, yeah, I got some.
Like a little, yeah. And so he drove from New York and said, if you can definitely get me in. And I said, I can't make any promises about meeting anybody, but I'll definitely get you in. I have an all-access pass. So he drove out from New York to Chicago.
When was this?
A few years ago.
2013.
Okay.
And then...
I may listen to Pearl Jam the entire fucking drive.
Did you listen to anything else but Pearl Jam?
No.
Okay.
I brought him up.
You listen to recordings of himself singing Pearl Jam songs?
He's like, I do a pretty good fucking better man.
I asked Mike's wife, hey, do you mind if I bring a friend up here? And she said, no, that's fine. So I go out, I grab Lou, I bring him on stage, we watch a couple of songs, and then at one point I turn around and I go, oh, Lou, hey, this is Ashley. Ashley, this is my friend Lou who drove out here from New York. And she goes, nice to meet you, Lou. And he goes, I love your husband. And I go, and I went, oh my God. And luckily, that's as far as it went. It just, he took it right to the line. But I think my hand was around his neck, like, Lou, don't. And then luckily that she goes, I love him too. And that was it. And I was like, whew.
Who was it? Ashley McCready?
Yeah, Ashley McCready.
I had the peace of mind to know that I was being a dickhead, and I stepped back.
No, you weren't being a dick. It was just I just for a minute I just went, oh no.
It could have went really
Another
wrong.
time, another place, I'd totally suck your tits.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'd like to see if there's some McCready dick residue down there.
Yeah.
You got any dick residue?
Can I smell your pussy? Nothing sexual with you. I just want to see if it still smells like its balls bouncing off your hot muff.
Honestly, I just find you to be a conduit of his hot sperm. Just try to get
It
in
got
there.
scary. It got scary.
Can I put a straw in your butthole?
You just, hey, listen, I'm just like a fan of wine, and you're a cup. So I just want to know if I can lick the cup.
But it's weird because you think there's like
He just does a little wink.
you can even tell people like, hey, you just be cool when we're
Yeah.
down there, and then they still, you bring them on the field of a football
I
game.
am such a tread light guy when I go backstage. I went backstage a bunch of times. I've never made any kind of a problem ever.
Yeah. No, we would always.
Except when I had that meltdown on fucking at Red Hot Chili Peppers, but that wasn't
Which
my
I
fault.
still don't remember.
That wasn't my fault at all.
What happened?
Somebody yelled at you.
We went to Chili Peppers at the Garden. It was so funny. I had a mental breakdown after this. I don't know why. I don't even know why it hit me so hard, but it did. We were at Chili Peppers at the Garden, and we had side stage passes. We were able to go, but for some reason, to get to the side stage there, you do kind of walk through the audience, sort of. It was weird. And we're going to the side stage, and security, I'm like the first person in line where it's like, it's too much now on side stage.
Okay.
Right. Security's going to have to.
I'm the cutoff there. So he goes, the security guy goes to me, he goes, already like hand on the chest thing, but I'm like, okay. And he goes, yeah, no more side stage, too full over there. You got to turn around, you got to go back. And I go, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like, sure, whatever we got to do. I turn around, I tell Craig, Carlo's with us. Carlo remembers this. I go, yeah, we can't. Yeah, so, but there's 15 more people behind that have to turn around. So it's got a telephone its way down there.
Yeah.
Get there. We turn around, I'm like, and I'm even giving this to everybody. I'm like, we got to go. We can't do this. And the guy's like pushing on my back. And I turn around to the guy, I go, buddy, you don't have to, like, I got it. Like, I'm not making a problem. I'm out of here. We just got to let I'm at the end of the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, okay. And then he just starts doing it again. And by the third time I just turned around, I was like, get your fucking hands. I was like, I just wigged out, like, get your fucking hands on me. You can't be putting your fucking hands on me. And I was insane. And like,
What happened?
Craig was like, JJ, calm down. Like, it was all ended pretty quick. But then I don't know what it's like. I just went in like the men's room, which is like, I remember it was like you walk out of like where the arena is, on the floor, like there's a little ouch, and like the concourse. And I go in the, I remember just pacing back and forth in the bathroom. No one else really in there either. And I was just like, you can't fucking put your hands on me.
That's so great.
And I go, just fucking, you think you just put your hands on me? Like, I'm the guy. You just want to fucking test him. I just started bawling. And then I started laughing, and then I went back out. I was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened.
And
but
the
I was.
Chili Peppers had a great show.
They did. Very good show.
I
actually.
vaguely remember you telling me, like, dude, I just had a breakdown. What?
Yeah.
And I vaguely remember that. I don't remember which show it was at. I do remember sending. Do you have any friends that you'll hook up with stuff, and you'll get them into shows, you'll get them into games, and they'll say to you, dude, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everything you do for me, I really do. But if you could ever get me to meet. And then they fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Favorite comic, favorite whoever.
Yeah, sure.
If you could ever get me to meet, I will love you for the rest of your life. And for a buddy of mine, it was Kiss.
Okay.
He'd been telling me for years, like, I want to meet Kiss. And I started to develop a relationship with that band.
I was like, you know those guys like pretty well.
From making fun of them on the Howard Stern show, I started to develop a friendship
So
with
you
them.
do an unbelievable Gene.
So I made a phone call and I said, is it okay to put a name on the list for a show you got coming up in Hartford? Yeah, what's the name? And I gave him the name. And then I said, hey, man, you're all set. I don't know what's going to happen, but you're in for free. I don't know that you're going to meet anyone, but your name's on the list. He calls me the next day with this horrifying story. I go, hey, what happened? He goes, man, I had these passes. They were after-show passes, right? And I guess you get to meet the band after the show. But a friend of mine who's working at the venue, he came back and gave me a heads up. He was like, hey, just so you know, band's not coming back. They're all leaving. So I snuck out of there, and I was like, what?
No.
He goes, I manage my way out of there, and I find my way
my way out.
I find my way in the hallway where the dressing room, and I'm listening to this.
I'm bragging to you, like, to tell you something, and all you're just going is like, oh my God.
Dude,
oh my God.
like, I hooked you up with it. My name is on your pass. Yeah, I walked down, and I saw Gene Simmons standing in the hallway, so I walked up to him. And this is a moment, apparently this guy's been waiting for 30 years. His first album he ever purchased is a Kiss album. And he walks up, Gene, I'm friends with Craig Gass. Can you sign? And Gene is nice. Sure. grabs his marker, grabs his album. The ink won't come out of the Sharpie, and he goes, "It doesn't work. I'm sorry."
Such a great genius.
And just walks away. And my buddy's like, what the fuck? Like, this even in his mind, I've waited 30 years for this.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Just one shot and done.
And Gene's walking away, and my buddy's going, what the? He's fucking with the Sharpie. He's shaking it. He's trying to get the ink to come out. He pulls out a lighter, lights the end of the Sharpie, which apparently draws the ink, and then he gets the ink to... Now, Gene is 50 feet away. He's about to get in the van. He goes, Gene! And he chases him. And he chases him and goes, Gene, sorry, man. I got the ink to work. And he said Gene stared at him, grabbed his Sharpie, grabbed his album, circled his face on the album, and then handed it back and said, now let's not say anything else that's going to embarrass us, okay? And he got in his car. And the guy's telling me the story. I'm cringing. And he actually, after getting the shaft from Gene Simmons, said, yeah, that Gene's a tough sell. And I was like, he gave you the brown helmet in front of your friends.
Oh, my God.
They don't think it's weird at all. It's like, I can finagle my way.
I've been the friend.
That's fucked up?
Yeah.
Wait, before you tell that, let me tell the one about...
you want to do Exxon? You want to do this, then go back to Exxon?
We can do that.
Mine's quick. It was just at a wedding.
Good.
My friend that was the receivers coach for the Redskins, my buddy, I'm in his wedding. And the other people in the wedding party are football coaches and 2 guys I grew up with. So it's 4 football coaches and 3 shitheads from Aurora, 2 shitheads from Aurora, Colorado.
Who are football fans.
Who are just guys. Just my buddy Chad and
By
me.
the way, I got to say, there's a weird thing about sports, only in sports, where all guys feel like they can relate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, oh, yeah, you play in the NFL? Oh, dude, yeah.
Robert,
I can toss the ball.
Yeah.
RG3 was dancing with Danny at the wedding. He was dancing with my girlfriend. And I was just like, all right, one more song, and I'm going to take out that left knee.
Frank Thomas and him are just fucking running rope trains on her.
She's got a fucking dream team. So she, so we're taking pictures for the wedding, right? And one of the guys in the wedding party is the offensive line coach for the Redskins. And he's getting hammered. He's like throwing him back. And I'm sitting there, and he's like Ben on the golf show. He's very alpha male, doesn't like me, knows I'm a comedian. I can just tell he just didn't like me. And I'm like, yeah, right? I'm like trying to be funny with him. He's not having it. So we're sitting there, and I'm talking to one of the bridesmaids, and her husband just got hired by the 49ers. And I'm a diehard San Francisco 49ers fan. And I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. She's from the Bay. We're just talking about all this stuff. And I'm getting all excited. And the offensive line coach is sitting next to me, and he goes, hey, you should come up for a Redskins. You should come down to that's what he said. He goes, you should come down from New York. You live in New York, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you should come down for a Redskins game. I go, actually, I was down there last season, Monday Night Football, and the Niners played the Redskins. I came down there. And he's like, oh, yeah. Alden Smith had a sack. I go, actually, Alden Smith had 3.5 sacks.
Oh, no.
And he just stares right at me, and he goes, he did. That was the last thing he said to me. He wouldn't talk to me the rest of the thing.
Why did you say that?
I don't know. My best friend Garrett.
I don't know. I feel like there's a thing where you could have been like.
But here's the point. When I got back to the table where all my friends who weren't in the wedding party were sitting, I go, yeah, I just said this to the offensive line coach, and my buddy Garrett Pace eating, and he drops his fork. He goes, yeah, it's his job to stop that. And I go, oh. Okay. And it was like one of those things of why I shouldn't have said that, and I was like, oh.
Isn't it funny? We can all hold our own and know how to act appropriate around big name comedians. Chris Rock, Tell will show up at clubs, but sports guys, I lose my shit.
Yeah, and I just I was just trying to be like kind of had a dude.
We're both just guys,
or also like
a couple of dudes.
It was also very much
correcting a couple of guys.
It was also like, hey, I know sports. I'm a man. I know sports. When he was like 1 sack, I was like, actually, I thought I was going to thrill him with my knowledge.
It's 3 sacks. I keep stats. High five.
Yeah, I go, I'm just holding it out there.
Up top me.
But yeah, I was kind of that friend. But that was it. That was the only time I've ever kind of embarrassed myself.
The best of my knowledge, I've never been. I'm always but I'm hyper aware of him. I'm such an insecure dude that I'm always just like, I don't want to yell something out too much. I don't want to be obnoxious.
The thing about Jay is I've seen Jay in pressure situations where he's just always cool. You never, even if I'll introduce you to somebody that I'll go, and I know Jay's a fan, he'll just be like, oh, cool, what's up, If
I've told this in the show before, stop me this part, because I'll tell this real quick, since Craig's involved in this. Now, I guess we're 13 years ago. We went to. I love this story, man. No, this isn't like that. This isn't the one with the corn concert. Okay. We went backstage. Craig's like, wait here, I'm going to the bathroom. It was Pledge of Allegiance tour. Did I tell us on the air?
System of a Down.
System of a Down. Slipknot, Rammstein, and Mudvayne. We're backstage. we get there way early.
Yeah.
What we did, we went to a Giants Seahawks game.
Yes.
In the Meadowlands. We walked over. That used to be able to walk over that walking bridge to get to the Izod Center.
Yeah. And but I don't know if Jay remembers this. We got a motivational speech from a roadie who told us about how you got to talk to chicks.
Oh yeah, and all the awful things they would do to women. And he's like bragging. He's like, "Isn't that pretty cool?" Like, no.
Yeah. You know what?
We all got our dicks sucked on the bus by these girls who they said they were like, "How do we meet typo negative?" And I was like, "We got to blow every guy on the bus." And then
here's
the guys
what
kept
you're
coming
gonna
in.
do. I just tell the ladies, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna suck my dick. Then you're gonna suck his dick. And he's telling this.
And when they're done sucking dick, he goes, and then when they're done sucking all those dicks, and they go, "Can we meet typo negative now?" We're like, "Bitch, they left an hour ago." I'm like, I think he just raped. I think he just gang raped a girl.
Yeah.
I hope. Oh my God! What
Yeah.
if he's like, and I got a daughter who sleeps in the closet in Tucson. I'm out.
Winning.
Most horrible person in the United
So
States.
I'm pretty much.
This is just a neat story. I think this isn't like even a rough one. This is just cool. When so we're backstage. Craig goes off to the bathroom, and I said, "I'm just fly on the wall. I'm just trying to be out of the way and everything." And I see Max Weinberg's there with his son,
that's right.
who's dressed up, little boy.
Yeah.
He's dressed up. I've told you the story, right? No,
I think you've told me in passing, but you haven't told us.
He's dressed up in like the full Corey Taylor, Slipknot
outfit.
gear. He's got the mask on and everything, and he's there at Max Weinberg. I go, "Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Max Weinberg, that's pretty neat." And I'm just sitting back and watching. Corey Taylor, lead singer of Slipknot, comes out. And he's like, "Max Weinberg, what's up, man?" He's like, "It's great to meet you." And he goes, "Oh, pleasure to meet you. This is my son. He's the biggest fan." He's like, "What's up, little guy?" And they have this meeting. I'm just fly on a wall for that. Let's skip ahead now.
13
years. Things happen, whatever. I end up on tour with Korn. I get to know those guys. Ray Luzier, who you know very well, the drummer from Korn, who's an awesome dude. He gets me and Christine tickets last year to go see them in Philly, Slipknot, Korn. And when Korn goes on first, when Korn's done, Ray comes out to the soundboard to sit with me and Christine and watch the rest of the show. Joey Jordison was their legendary drummer of Slipknot. He's an amazing drummer. They kicked him out of the band.
Yes.
That year, they're using the studio drummer to do the thing. And while we're sitting there, Ray's telling me this story just about, he goes, and I'm just kind of, not that's going in one ear and out the other ear. I like hearing, but it's just very drummery talk. He was like, "Yeah, this guy up here, mate. He goes, this guy they got, the studio guy is fucking amazing. They should sign him officially, make him part of the band before he gets picked up by somebody else because he's that sick of a drummer." And I'm like, "Wow, yeah, man, cool." He seems pretty great. And he's like, "It's Max Weinberg's kid." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just happened to be there for this weird, intricate moment.
That is awesome that you were there at the moment when he was a kid and a fan meets him. That's like someone was there when Ali met Sugar Ray Robinson. Like someone was at that. He was outside of a restaurant and they passed ways and Sugar Ray wouldn't give him an autograph. Someone else was there. That was kind of your moment to be. That's fucking awesome.
It's such a weird, just
I love
thing.
hearing.
And also Craig took me. I'm not exaggerating when I say 3 months before we went to, I think, one of the last shows of Reinventing the Steel, Pantera at
that was insane.
At Roseland Ballroom. And 3 months later, man, Dimebag got killed. Yeah,
Jesus.
Crazy. Got to meet him, and he's the only one in the band who stopped us. We stopped him side stage, in the little steps in the back of Roseland, and he bullshit with Craig and me Craig knew him. And he bullshit with us for a few minutes. That was the only guy in the band we got to meet.
He's one of them.
He said that thing where he's like, feels. You can see there all the problems. So he's like, I don't know, Phil brings this gym everywhere we go with us. They got to set it up, and he doesn't use it. He's all fucked up in his dressing room.
Yeah, they do. They have the band. You'll see sometimes backstage. You'll see separate. I did a show opening for Motley Crue last summer, and backstage they had a Vince Neil dressing room, a Nikki Sixx dressing room, a Mick Mars. They had 4 separate dressing rooms.
Vince Neil's face, his old face.
they'll have at a Van Halen show, they'll have a tuning room. But I remember backstage those Pantera shows, they would have the band dressing room and then Phil's workout room.
Phil's gym, yeah.
Phil's gym, and they would set up boxing equipment.
That's crazy.
Very weird.
That
is weird.
And the guy's strung out, and
dude, he was not. It was. If it makes sense, if you watch those documentaries or behind the music, when he was on heroin on that tour, And his hair was long. That was the first time his hair was ever really long, and he had this big crazy beard, and just like he looked awesome.
Yeah,
he's never looked cooler. Like the way he just sang and did his thing with all that crazy hair and shit was so badass. But it was the worst he ever was.
See, I would always tell Jay to cut his hair when he had long hair. I'd be like, "You're such a handsome guy.
He is.
You
what
should
a
cut
handsome
your hair.
boy.
You're a handsome guy, but with long hair, you look fucking scary. Even as nice and likable as you are on stage, I thought you looked like a fucking serial killer.
You look like the lead enforcer for a biker gang when you had long hair.
But he's
now,
so fucking.
Now you're 4 out of 4, Jay.
4 out of 4.
Yeah, you know what?
4 out of 4.
Because you were a likable serial killer on stage with long hair. Now you're just a likable, handsome guy.
Just a nice boy from South Philly.
Nice faux hawk.
Yeah. There it is. I want to hear.
We should probably take one more break.
One more break and then come back, and then I want to hear this Valdez story.
It's good
because there's nothing more that I like than Jay being in the middle of nowhere.
A lot of scary fucking going on between the three of us.
Yeah.
So much.
A lot of scary fucking.
And we got to have Craig back on another episode because there's so many.
I got so many stories I want to tell you guys.
I'm just going to tease that we're not even going to get to. Our story is so epic.
It really is.
I know, and I wanted
and it's all on file at the Camden Police Department. Everything that happened is part of public record with the Camden Police Department.
Absolutely true.
And there's a scary follow-up that I went through recently in Philadelphia where I reconnected with everybody by telling the story at WMMR, and they started calling in.
Preston Steve.
Yeah.
Good
Preston,
dudes. Yeah, great.
Oof, God, that scared me.
Okay.
It scared me.
If there's not a better preview for a second.
So we have to have Craig back on ASAP. And
Jay's going to quit the show after this week.
After the special airs.
It's over.
Jay's going to have his own.
I stayed loyal after my special aired, but Jay's
Dan, I'll join you.
I say,
couple weeks.
Yeah,
I'll
done.
just say, enjoy it while we got it, everyone. It's the Bonfire.
We're going to throw gas on the fire.
And now back to the Bonfire with Big J. Oakerson and Dan Soder.
Jay tries to talk and Luke just cranks the Pearl.
It's the Bonfire.
Shut the fuck up.
I got nervous.
We're listening to Pearl Jam, you punk.
Don't you see a Pearl? You hear the jam is on? If you can tell by that quality, not only has we gone as deep track as you can go, this one is recorded on Lou's cell phone.
Come on, he does it almost better than Michael McDonald.
Well, first of all, it's impossible. No, he's nailing it. If I'm picking a Dude Brothers song, though, it ain't this one.
That dude is magic. Eddie Vedder is magic.
But he should have sang it like Michael McDonald.
I saw him at I did a show in.
Hey, look, there's Mike McCready. I love him.
The white man has power to reason away.
I did a show in Minneapolis at that New Hope place that does comedy, the New Hope Cinemas, and Mike McCready came out to the show. Brought his security, brought a couple security guys with him to come see my show. The next night, he invited me to watch Soundcheck. And
you should have bought your security.
There's Jay.
Your opener.
Hey, where's catering?
You guys have Crafty here?
Yeah.
I need a parking space for his bus.
And the other guys in the band are always, super nice. Like, hey, Craig, hey, what's going on? But I just have this weird, I'm like so intimidated by Eddie Vedder. Eddie walked by me and kind of did like a double take. He wasn't sure if he knew me or not. And then Mike goes, that's Craig, man. And then he starts walking towards me. He goes, hey, Craig, I was just thinking about you, man. Did you hear about that thing about Kiss in the news? And I go, oh, yeah?
Does he talk to you?
I was 12 talking to a girl. Oh, really? Oh, my God, really? Why am I doing this?
That's my concern of how I'd be on Stern.
Yeah?
You'd be like,
Great job, by the way.
So what brings you here? And you'd be like,
great job.
What are you doing here?
You ask me questions. You do me.
All right, so we're in keeping with this theme of scary situations with women that we find ourselves in because we have penises.
Yeah.
We're dumb until we come.
Before, let me tell you just one thing. We were getting into that, like bringing somebody who fucks up.
Yeah.
Again, if I've told in the show, I hate that it.
A lot of people hearing it for the first time. It's all right if you're repeating a story.
When I first came to New York, I tried to get a job as like a bouncer, quote unquote, at a goofy strip club right around the corner from Caroline's. It's basically a whorehouse.
Diamond Cabaret?
Dude, I think you took me there.
It was definitely. It was called like Bare Elegance or something.
You took me there and something weird happened, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a goofy, like, it's just to get laid, I think. But it's no booze, no nothing. But
I think it's human trafficking.
Probably.
I think it's human trafficking.
But the guy who owns it's like a creepy dude. I actually liked the bartender I got along with. I was like friendly with him. This guy Pete, good dude. John was the guy who I didn't like because when you walk in, You ever see someone be so like brazen with chicks that you're like, all right, dude, that's a person.
Yeah.
He'll be like, you see the new girl and like call her over and it's like, yeah, you like that? And he'll like spread her ass cheeks for you and you're like, okay, dude.
Stop it. That's a person.
You're just exactly. You're like. It's like if she came over and she was like, "Oh, he's cute," and spread her pussy for me. I'm all like, "Yeah," but he's like, she just came over. She's like, "This is what he does when he has a friend come in." You know what I mean? It's very weird like that. So
that's like restaurant managers.
I'd invite.
That's that same confidence where they're like, "You like her? Yeah. Well, you know what? I gave her a 7-table section, so she should show a little cleavage."
So I invite the bartender guy to come out. I was opening for Brian Regan.
Yeah.
At Caroline's.
Shit.
Yeah. This is at Caroline's. This is years. This was last tour before.
You're opening for Regan.
Yeah, they gave me the whole thing about, that's all their story. They gave me a whole speech about like being super clean. You know what's funny? I found out he didn't care if I was clean or not. I thought that was the coolest thing about him, that he's like, he doesn't care.
Well,
everybody's got people around him that are protecting them without their consent.
And also, it's like, it shows you how good, he's like, you can be as filthy as you want, I'm still going to fucking
when I go out there, I'm
murder.
going to fucking murder.
I remember every time he would perform at Caroline's, I remember seeing Patrice, Attell, we'd all, like, dirty comics all standing in the back wall watching.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, one thing I've always, and this is not a dig on Dan, I do think Dan Cook's funny, so it's not a dig on him at all. I was just very shocked that when I opened for him, his last go around at clubs at Caroline's, after the first show, he brought me in the back room and told me he needed me to be squeaky clean. I thought that was weird.
That is weird.
I remember that weekend.
I'm like, they don't give a shit.
I remember that weekend because something weird happened in the lobby. I don't know if you remember, between me, you, and Dane.
No, I'd like to be reminded of that, though, at some point. But anyway, at Brian Regan's show, I tell the bartender of this whorehouse, I'm like, hey, if you want to come out, man, I'll get you some tickets. He comes to Brian Regan. It's a big show. He doesn't know Brian Regan. He had no idea.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous to me. But he goes, do you mind if I bring John, the owner? I'm like, that's cool. I said, you know what? He goes, I'll get you like 4 tickets. I'll get you a small table and you can like, whatever you want to do. They bring 2 of the girls.
Okay. And John was the one that was grabbing the girls.
Yes.
Okay.
They bring 2 of the girls. 2 basically dumb Puerto Rican hookers who don't know who Brian Regan is, nor do they care.
What'd be funny, though, is if one of them had, like, deep knowledge where she's like, I swear to God, if he do Pop-Tart bits, I'm going to lose my shit. Yo, that I Walked on the Moon, easily one of the greatest comedian albums of all time. I'm just be saying, though.
Take care, you too. That's so brilliant.
God,
That's so brilliant.
He's so stupid.
And he can do it with still, he's so clean, but still so funny.
God, he don't even say no bad words or nothing, like a cannonball wound. Like, who would have a cannonball wound? That's
He's
not
just,
even a real
he's
thing.
just silly, papi.
You silly, but you so mad clean, too.
We're still always just starts going right into how you go, Billy, the fucking stupid.
You fucking lost Jeopardy money, Billy.
Took all our fucking money.
You fucking idiot, Billy. Billy. Brian Regan's gonna kill us, Billy. Me in the front seat, you cursing.
So, they put them in, I mean, directly dead center up front.
God damn it.
These people who have no idea.
Can we continue this at Applebee's when we're done recording?
Yeah, we're going to have a couple.
They, so they watch the show, whatever, and while I'm watching the show at one point, I can't tell what's going on way up front, but at one point, Regan comes out of, stage persona and goes, now they have, by the way, Caroline, same thing. Caroline, same thing, has the ticket with my name on it. He didn't see that. This is all lucky that he didn't see it because it gets way worse. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I told him when we just recorded Ari Shaffir's show 2 weeks ago this story. This is the first time he knew this had anything to do with me. He didn't remember it at all though, but which is weird. I thought he would because I picture his shows never go weird. He has to acknowledge it. He goes, girls. He goes, and he says something. He goes, why don't you just shut up because you're being rude and you ruined the show for everybody. And like everyone clapped against him, and I was like, oh, geez.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez. I'm in the green room having a full-blown panic attack.
Of course.
I already apologized. Kenny, who was the manager at the time, knew. Kenny knew they were my people. He came to me with he wasn't shitty. He was very nice to me, Kenny. So he kind of came to me with a little bit of there's your guest, buddy. I'm like, dude, I had no idea. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. This sucks. Shit, I was frazzled by it. He's like, don't worry about it. No harm, no foul. No big deal. I go, please don't tell Brian it was my people. If it comes up, I'll apologize, but can we just please leave it alone? He's like, yeah, no problem, no problem. So when I hear the show ends, I'm going out to the lobby because I'm going to fucking dig into these guys' asses. Yeah. I'm mad. Yeah. And I can't wait for them to come out. They're like the last people to come out, and just the dudes come out, I see. Just the guys. The 2 guys. And they come over to me and they go, man, we are so sorry, man. We're so, and I'm like, yeah, man, you fucking should be sorry. That's insane. I get you guys hooked up to this show. This is like a sold out. This is like a big deal show.
Major show.
I go, and you guys, why would you bring the? I go, you just talk during the show, man. You bring these girls to talk during the show, and they're puzzled almost. They go, oh, you're mad about? He goes, oh no. He goes, no, that's. Oh man, it got way worse. And I'm like, what? What do you mean it got way worse? He goes, when the show was over and everyone was getting up to leave, a lady next to one of the strippers goes, thanks for ruining the show for me. And the stripper just punches her right in the fucking face, and that becomes like a melee. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, son of a bitch. Jeez. And that was like that was one of the last times I learned, like, I don't push hard. And I'm very mama bear, I'm very like mother hen.
Yeah.
Where I definitely try to like, hey, I want us all to go. But I've started taking the pressure off myself to be like, if I grab 2 people to go to a concert, I'll grab 2 people. Because once you start getting that thing, man, and a lot of people don't think twice about being like, what's our access? Can we get really backstage? Can we walk around? Can we get side stage? I'm like, maybe, but let's just go and watch the show.
I just get people in. I just say, I'll get you in.
I always go. We can get to the sound. If I try, if you can act like a normal person, I'd love to bring you to the soundboard. I love going to the soundboard. It's a great place to watch.
I've taken away tickets from people because they've asked too many things. Same buddy who worked for the Redskins, Cowboys, Redskins. I got a buddy, and he's like, dude, I'm going to be in Dallas. Can I get tickets? And I was like, yeah, let me see what I can do. My buddy's like, yeah, you just can't wear any Cowboys thing because it's like a rule when you sit with the coaches' wives. They don't want you wearing opposing.
Who's your guy work for now? The Redskins still?
He's on the Falcons. My buddy coached for the Falcons now, but he was still on the Redskins. And my buddy's like, I'm going to be in Dallas. Like, let me go to this game. And I'm like, I call my buddy. I text him. And he's like, yeah, same rules as you when you go to a Niner game. I'm a huge Niner fan. I don't wear Niner shit when I go because it's his tickets. It's disrespectful to be wearing the other team's shit and being like, yeah. So he's like, I'm like, hey, I got your tickets. You can't wear Cowboy stuff. He goes, well, that's fucking gay. And I was like, no. It's what happens. Yeah. So you're just not going to do that. And he goes, I can wear like a hat. And I was like, no, you can't wear anything Cowboys.
Ari Shafir, who's autistic, was going to come to me with a game. I got tickets from an Eagles player. And he was making the joke that he would wear a Cowboy, but he's like, no, I'm not going to like.
So this guy, and by the way, this isn't a good friend of mine. This is like a comedy friend kind of thing. And he's like, well, that's just stupid. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm in Dallas, and I want to see a Cowboys game. It just happened. You're hooking me up. I go, do you not want these tickets? Do you not want these tickets? And he's like, no, I want the tickets. It's just fucking dumb. Like,
wow.
And then so finally, and then he asked the question.
It's already an issue.
Yeah, it was already an issue. And then he brought up the second question where he goes, but I get field access, right? And I go,
wow.
I go, you know what? Let me double check with my friend because I don't know if I got tickets. And I call him back. I can't get tickets. I was wrong, man. Sorry. And then he's like, oh, dude, I was
field access.
Yeah. He goes, oh, sorry. He goes, well, that sucks, man. I was like kind of excited about it, and next time I see that guy, I'm gonna be like, you were such a prick. You fucking blew.
Nate Bargatze, like I said, his dad's like teaches magic or taught magic.
He's the best.
To the long snapper for the Eagles, and it's like. I ask Nate once a year, I'm like, hey, Nate, can you see if your dad will get me some, tickets to the guy? And the guy always does it. And he could seat me in the fucking... I just want to go.
Yeah.
I just want to be there at the game with the energy of the game. I don't care, man. Let's not make it a whole thing. And
Although,
I got a problem.
There's once a year or twice a year, I'll go to a Seahawks game. I'm a huge Seahawks fan.
Well, now you know the front office because you brought them to a show one time.
Yeah, I bring them to all... I bring players and front office guys to shows. I'll connect them with... tours that are going through Seattle and say, hey, if you want to go to the show, I'll hook you up.
I feel like you guys are talking about like an ex-girlfriend that I hate, so I'm just like trying to be civil about it. I'm like, yeah.
Which I get. I mean, I get that. But my team has sucked for so long that it's weird for me everyone not like my team.
You and I had a great conversation outside of the cellar after the Seahawks beat the Niners in the NFC Championship game.
About the rivalry.
Yeah, and we were both happy. I wasn't happy, but I mean, we had a good conversation.
He told me a great story about
were you on the
Super Bowl,
same show where we performed for the Seahawks front office? I thought you were on that. It was like Stand Up New York, I think you brought him to.
Yeah, Stand Up New York. It was the night before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was the night before the Super Bowl, and a bunch of guys from the Seahawks came out. But when I go to a game, the team will arrange for me to have a job so that I can be on the field with the team.
That's awesome.
And being close enough to hear the players yell out the N-word at each other is the coolest thing ever, to hear them say awful shit to each other.
So my buddy Mike, with that Redskins game, he got Nate and I on the field one time when we went to watch the Niners Redskins.
You're watching your team play on the field.
But I'm wearing generic clothing.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like close enough. But
You're not cheering for the other team.
But Vernon Davis was catching. He was still in the Niners, and he had his pads up, and he was catching as far as Jay is away from me.
You wanted to hug him,
and I go, Vernon. Your abs game is killing it. And he caught it and he looked at me, he goes, right? And he knocked on his abs. and Nate goes, that's pretty cool.
Lucky that it didn't creep him out. That could have gone either way. I met Matt Hasselbeck, who I know nobody really gives a shit about, but I met Matt Hasselbeck when he was playing after a game. I saw him coming out of the locker room, and the only thing that came out of my mouth, I went, Matt! And I put my hand out to shake his hand. The only words that came out of my mouth, I went, you make me so happy. And he goes, what? And then he just walked away.
That's great.
That's all I could think of to say.
I never got to talk to Iverson ever. That would have been a big one.
That would have been. We did that. Well, Al Madrigal, Tommy Johnigan, David Huntsberger, and I all did that web series with the 49ers. And after they lost to the Seahawks in week 2, about 3 seasons ago, they flew us out there to film at the facility. Right. And all these guys were coming in, and we were in the dining room with all of the 49ers. And we you didn't want to, but I was in line at the cafeteria next to Justin Smith, and he's just this house of a man, and I was like a little kid looking up at him, like, hi.
I'd say when the long snapper got the first time I ever went with Nate to a game, it was the Eagles losing. They got knocked out of the playoffs. It was the game before the playoffs. It was basically loser.
Yeah,
goes home against the Giants. Giants won. But there was an after party at Chicky and Pete's in Philadelphia still, just for the players and friends and family, whatever. We go to that. We got invited to that. We come, and I remember that was the funniest thing ever. Hank Baskett, who ended up going on to marry
Kendra from.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Before that,
Playboy chick.
He played he was on the Colts after the Eagles.
Yeah, but when he was on the Eagles, still he came in and I was just sat with him. So just having a casual conversation, I was like, dude, on Madden for whatever reason, slot receiver, you're my highest rated guy on Madden. You're my fucking best receiver on the team. Just kind of playfully saying it to him. And he was cool. He's like, man. He goes, yeah, I wish it was like that in real life, huh? And I'm like, hey, man, you're having a great year, and blah, blah. It's very cordial and got out of the way. It was nothing weird at all. Night's going on. We were there for about 3 hours. He's getting fucking tatered hard. And then it's the saddest of the night when I start realizing that McNabb's never going to come, Westbrook's never going to come, Dawkins never going to come. That's who I was kind of hoping to meet.
Well, Dawkins is your guy.
But I met a bunch of the coolest people, there. And then I remember standing there at one point, having a drink or something. And Hank Baskett just kind of walks up next to me, and he's like, it's one of those weird, he's getting next to me, but not. And he just goes yeah, so I'm your number one receiver in Madden, huh? I was like, yeah, man, totally. And he goes, wish it was fucking like that in real life.
Second time.
It was so real. The second time,
Double down.
Okay.
You want to go hey, do you want me to go talk to Andy Reid?
Wow.
Do you want me
to speak to somebody?
Yeah. I think their receivers coach is having some chicken fingers.
Just high-fived Kevin Curtis and Brent Selleck. So.
Brent Selleck.
The veil has been taken away.
Let's get this Valdez story to wrap up the show.
Yeah, we started out talking about scary situations we find ourselves in. By the way, I think the golden rule, if you ever have a chance on the road, if you're single and you're going to meet up with a girl, don't ever go to their house. Ever.
No, I never will. This is the story that over a decade ago now ended my chasing pussy thing ever.
Because it scared you?
It was just, I just realized what could go wrong here. And this isn't even a violent one or anything. It's just a real I'm fucked up. This place is so small. Yeah. There's only a few flights in and out a day that only go to a few places. Yeah. You got to go from there. You just got to get out of there to Anchorage, and then Anchorage you can get to wherever.
Which I'm familiar with. When I lived in Soldotna, that's how it was.
Yeah, you can't just go right there.
Fly from Anchorage in a puddle jumper over.
I mean, it's like a 10-seater.
Yeah.
You can see the pilot.
Yes.
You can actually see the pilot.
You can see the back of the pilot's neck.
Yeah. It's that kind of plane.
I hate those planes.
So it's kind of the same way you have to get to Aspen, I think. Same sort of thing. But so...
Of course, that's what I want to
So, I get there. It's snowing always. They won't take off if there's clouds, because the mountains, the fog, they can't see through that fog. They need to have clear. It's a whole bunch of things that you can't get out of there if you don't get out of there on time. I went out there to do a Black Circuit promotion thing. That's how long ago this was.
Okay.
And Honest John, who's the white dude who wears Honest John, was out there, and me. I was opening. It was great. It was at the Civic Center, Valdez Civic Center. The entire fucking town was there.
I was going to say, I didn't even know there'd be a civic center in Valdivia.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone was there. The entire town was there. The next day, everywhere, in the morning, you go get breakfast. They're like, great show last night. At the airport, people were like, so funny last night.
TSA, everyone knows you.
No shit. It was like that crazy. With the airport's like, 20 employees.
Yeah.
Right. And 2 gates.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So, afterwards, I'm talking to this girl, beautiful redhead. I mean, way out of my league. I'm like, uncomfortable, but she's like saying, like, she's basically telling me she wants to fuck tonight.
Okay.
And I'm like, yep. Yeah, we should do this. This is a good idea. And she goes,
are you not into it?
No. No, but I mean, I shouldn't have been. I was definitely like seeing someone else, so I shouldn't have done it. But I was just like, yeah, I was like, I'll do that. And then she started giving like everyone's going back to my brother's house. We're going to like party there for a while. And then we're going to go. She goes, and then I'll go back to your hotel with you. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
I know it's not. I'd rather just go right to the hotel, but I'm going like, but this is what's going to make her more want to come.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get in a car. We drive to her brother's house. Her brother's house sucks.
What?
It just sucks. It's just a bunch of people who don't know me.
I missed that part of it. Why are you going to her brother?
Because she wants to like go there. Everyone's going there. All her friends go there to like drink more and smoke weed.
And for you, and you don't realize this, to her, you're a prize.
I'm not even smoking weed at this point yet in my life.
Oh wow, this is you.
But what Dan's saying is true. Like she is going to show you off a little bit, which is kind of weird,
right? And she is. But here's the thing: the people that weren't at the show, some of her friends that weren't there, you're hearing this mix of like her brother wasn't at the show,
which irritates people. When you walk into a room, like, don't you know that you should be impressed by this?
Yes. Yeah.
That irritates some people.
It's like, this is the guy that you were, basically too busy to go see tonight. And then the brother's like, yeah, great. He's like, he's so good, and it's all that, and he couldn't be less interested.
Makes people feel weird.
We're not there for crazy long, but it starts fucking, like, torrential fucking snowing.
Blizzarding.
It's bad. And I'm like, now I'm starting to get worried. I'm getting further and further from worrying about pussy and worrying about, like, I have to get to my hotel or I'm not going to get out of here in the morning. So she was supposed to go. She drove. She was supposed to drive me back. I'm not really overthinking the fact that she's just getting housed.
Yeah.
I mean, she's drinking, shots, everything. Everyone, about a half hour, 45 minutes into this hang, most of everybody, it's late. Everyone's like kind of passed out on couches.
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone's passed out.
Grabbing a napkin all nervous.
Everyone is passed out on couches.
Oh, no.
And I got to tell the story. We really have to wrap up. We're passed out on couches. Not me. I'm wide awake.
Yeah.
I'm asking about a cab. They laugh at me because some people are going like, there's only one cab in this town, man. Like, it's like, and Boris goes to sleep at like 8, whatever, his name is. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, sweetie, you got to take me back to my hotel. And she's like, oh, I'm so out of it. She goes, will my brother take you? And she's basically asking me to start asking other people.
Oh, God.
I'm miserable with this. I'm going around. I'm asking other people. People are like, bro, just crash here, man. I'm like, no, I have to get to the airport. I'm starting to wig out. And I go to her. I'm like, please. Like, I have to get out. I have to go. I can't be here.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than...
She's like, shitty. She's like, all right. Like, I'll take you, I guess. And I'm like, I'm even giving her like you said you wanted to hang out and fuck tonight, and I'm here because I'm waiting for you. And come on, like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I make her get up. She drives me. Thank God there's snow there. It snows so much there. The streets are like banked with snow,
right?
Yeah.
Because she is just drilling.
Wow.
I mean, she's all over the place. She gets me to my hotel though finally, and I get out. I'm getting out of it's like a fucking pickup truck. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, thanks. And I'm just getting out because I'm like, fuck this chick.
Yeah.
And then she goes, wait, and she grabs me and she starts making out with me.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right. And then she goes,
Dan's back in. Hey, she goes, cool.
Close the door, and I closed the door of the truck. She parked in a spot, came in, and we fucked.
Boom.
Worked out at the end. But however, my point is, it's so funny how angry I was. 30 seconds before, I'm like, I hope this bitch flips this car on her drive home. And then later she was like, I'll come inside. I'm like, you want to?
Yeah, dude. You know what that is? That's the definition of you're afraid of. your priorities become the biggest priorities.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they start going sour, fuck everyone else. But then when your priorities get solved again, you're like, everything's okay.
Once I'm and standing in front of the hotel,
You're like,
even though it's snowing and all that shit, I just know everyone who knows where I'm supposed to be, I'm at. I'm there.
Yeah.
And just that thing of when she goes, can I come inside? I'm like, of course you can come inside.
Why didn't we just do a 1-minute bonfire with me and Dan saying hanging out with girls is scary, and Jay goes, worked out for me. That's it. Just
that
1
could've been
minute.
it.
Boom.
That's the promo.
At Craig Gass on Twitter.
At Craig Gass Comedy.
At Craig Gass Comedy.
Oh, and check out the new video I made with Jay, Red Hot Chili
Rock on the
Peppers,
Range.
Disturbed, Governor John Kasich.
That's awesome.
A really funny video of asking rock stars for advice.
So check that out. Craig Gass, he's going to be back on the show again because we have another. We've already
An
cleared
epic
it.
story.
We've already cleared it.
We've got 4 more hours of
We've
stories.
got 4 more hours of stories. Most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, Friday at midnight, going into Saturday.
Everyone in the comedy scene's been waiting for this.
Go DVR it.
Waiting for Jay.
Make sure you watch it. The Comedy Central world premiere of the hour special, Big J. Oakerson, live at Webster Hall. Make sure you go watch that shit.
Dan
That's
Soder
all.
special, not special.
Don't worry about that. We'll deal with that on
Available for
another
download.
episode.
Blah. I love you.
Make sure you watch live at Webster Hall, Big J.
should make
Oakerson,
out.
and then of course I'm living in Cleveland for the next 6 months. So if you want to come check out one of my 80 shows,
Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland rocks. And we'll see you on Monday after Jay's a world superstar.
It's the bonfire.